Hare Krishna.
हरे
प्रभु
कृष्णा।
प्रणाम।
प्रणाम। कैसे हो?
प्रभु आप क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे कौन सा
आप
जूम लिंक है, इससे समझ में आ रहा है कि कुछ समय से आप ज्वाइन नहीं किए, इसलिए पूछ रहे कौन
नहीं,
सा
मैंने
जूम।
पता है यही जूम।
वो क्वेश्चन वो क्वेश्चन सुनकर हल्का सा हल्का सा
प्रणाम। कैसे हो?
नित्यवांग प्रभु ये ज्वाइनिंग। ओके ठीक है, हरि बोल। सत्य सर जी इज नॉट पिकिंग अप।
हाउ आर यू नरेंद्र प्रभु जी?
ओके, ही इज ऑन अनदर कॉल।
पॉसिबल।
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we'll start. I think the time is little less. So, okay. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। वंदेहम श्री गुरु श्री पदकमलम श्री गुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्री रूपम सागर जातम सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौर तुषे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री गदाधर श्री श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय। I think Nitya Gaurang Prabhu got dropped. Is it?
राइट प्रभु जी।
Yeah. Okay. All right. So today, Prabhu, we are going to cover. I have shared this lecture, which is by Keshavanand Prabhu, where he covers a very, very important topic about, we can say, as the method of the Gopis, the method of the Gopis, the method of worship of the highest ever personalities, which is the Gopis. So, it is the verdict. We know that we are in the process of, we are here because we have voluntarily and actually disastrously separated ourselves from the divine shelter, from the most precious relationship of the supremely loving, the supremely perfect person, Lord Sri Krishna. So because we have estranged ourselves from the Lord, now we are here in this temporary and miserable material world. And the Lord is extremely anxious to get us back, just like a most loving father, parent would be. Imagine, as you are all parents, realize if you lose your child, how anxious are you to get him back? So the Lord is extremely anxious to get us back. The only thing which is missing is, although we are so badly struggling, but we still are not anxious to get back to him. We are not still anxious to develop the relationship with him. We are still not anxious to serve him. So the method of developing this relationship, this connection back with the Lord, is the method of yoga. Yoga means to connect. Is the method of religion, religion, to reconnect. Is the dharma of the soul, because that's a natural position of the soul, to be in the most auspicious, most loving connection, relationship with the Lord. And there are various ways and methods to do it. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Lord Krishna himself, realizing that people have not taken advantage, foolishly, they have not taken advantage of the instructions given by the Bhagavad Gita, he came himself again. But this time he came in the form of a devotee to teach us by his own supreme example that how do we worship the Lord, how do we develop this relationship with the Lord. And so when he came, he taught us this particular way, that this is the highest. Although we are the lowest, he came us to teach the highest means by which the highest and the deepest and the most intimate relationship we can develop with the Lord. How to do that? So to the lowest people, he came to teach the highest way of developing the most intimate relationship with the Lord. Because you can have a little relationship, little more profound. You can have a little formal relationship, like with all people in this world. Some people are like, okay, I know of them. Some people I know them a little bit more. Some people are little bit my friends, my acquaintances, etc. Then they become little closer friends, etc., etc. Then they can be closer, that they are like your family members, or can be very intimate, can be your own wife or your child, etc. So the intimacy can keep increasing, right, of the relationship. And the most intimate relationship is that of at home, when you are connected with, like they live with you, they are at your home, your family members. They're like the most intimate. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us this science by which we can develop a relationship with the Lord, so that we can be with him at his home, with him at home, not just in a distant relationship or a formal relationship. And that home of the Lord is Vrindavan. And that is Golok of Vrindavan, where we can, this most intimate relationship can be developed. Obviously, people can unmute and share their a little bit hoo-ha or something, so that it's not a completely one way, unless you have sound around you, which may be the case with Anurag Prabhu. I can see he's in the train. But if Nityagarang Prabhu can unmute, and there can be a little bit of a discussion also sometimes. That's just a usual.
Prabhu,
I'm saying.
today I cannot. I have little Govind this year, so I cannot unmute. He's making little. We are reading. My wife
He's
is reading
always there.
something.
You always unmute. I mean, he's always there.
No, they are reading something, Prabhu. So I put my earphones and then that's why I'm muting.
Okay, sure. But yeah, but you can speak something in between.
Yeah. I'll speak something. Yeah, I'm here.
One way throughout the whole thing. Okay, so that's the idea that we yeah. Once again, I think yeah. So that is the idea that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach this highest and most intimate way of connection. And he taught us, and who are these devotees? Whose example is he teaching? He himself came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Who is who? She is the topmost Gopi. The topmost Gopi. So Gopis were said to have the highest and the most deepest, essentially, method of worship of the Lord, method of relationship with the Lord. You can even call it the method of madness. They were really mad about Krishna. What is this method has to be understood properly, because as and maybe I just put here a couple of points. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asked who is he actually quoted that verse, Naham Vipro na cha Narapatir, Naham Vaishyo na Sudro. And then later on in that verse comes that, who am I? He said, I'm not a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi. I'm not a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, or shudra. I am only who I am. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayor Das Dasanudas. I'm only a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the maintainer, the master of the gopis. So he identifies, we identify ourselves as a servant. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching by example. He identifies as a servant of the servant of the servant of who? Of the Lord, who is the master, the maintainer of the gopis. So we can see he came to teach us that how the gopis are worshipping, we have to follow that method. And there is this verse also, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayasta Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kaschid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matam Idam Tatradaro Na Paraha. This one verse by Srinivas Chakravarti, it is said, is actually summarizes everything about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's methods. It said that who is the Lord? The Lord is, the worshipable Lord is Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas. He is the one who is the Lord of Vrindavan. He is our worshipable Lord, Aradhyo Bhagavan. And not just the Lord is worshipable, but his dham is worshipable. Tadham Vrindavanam. Yeah, you can type also, but it's better you speak. But, Ramya Kaschid Upasana. And what is their method of worshipping them? The version of worshipping them is the method followed by Vrajvadhus. Method followed by the gopis. So we have to follow the method, the upasana, the method is the method which has been taught by the gopis. That is the highest form of worship of Krishna. And the book which is to be followed is Srimad Bhagavatam, because the pramanam, amalam pramano, apramanam amalam. And the goal is Krishna Prem, Prema Pumartho Maham, the fifth and the highest goal of life. This is the opinion of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whom we respect the most. It's not that we disrespect other methods, but we follow deeply the method of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now the question is, and generally in ISKCON, and I think Nitya Gauranga will also connect with this. As soon as we talk, and the method of the Gopi is called like the Gopi Bhava. What are their feelings? What are their methods? But what happens is there are two extremes. One extreme is, as soon as we talk about Gopi Bhav, we may as if like take it too cheaply, or we may just misunderstand it. It is so high. So, or that's what is called as Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas actually, in Vrindavan, etc., they just like, okay, we are going to practice to be in the Gopi Bhav, Hey Krishna, 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 as if like they are making, we can act out in various ways as if we are like so intimately, deeply, connected with the Lord, etc. So we may act in inappropriate ways, as if like for like the gopis, we are screaming out for Krishna. Yeah. And so that's what happens to Sahaji. And he says in the lecture that the entire life of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was to defeat, was to actually establish what is this right Gopi Bhav, which is opposite, different completely from what these Sahajiyas are teaching. So the purpose of this lecture, he said, is to actually also defeat this Sahajiyism, but also not do the other thing, which is very common in ISKCON, that we don't talk and mention about Gopi Bhav at all. We say, okay, we're not going to talk about that at all. Because that's too high, too esoteric topic, and that is, we may just slip in the wrong direction. But then you see that all our acharyas actually are, in fact, they are said to be the Manjaris. Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, Sanatan Goswami, Lavanga Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rati Manjari. There are even Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur are Manjaris. So we know that our gurus are actually Manjaris who are descended from the spiritual world. Mahaprabhu is himself calling out the method of worship is the method of the gopis, right? So the idea is, instead of completely saying, oh, I don't want to even hear this word, you will end up hearing this word, because you are following the gopis. You are actually, our Guru Janas are the Manjaris. But we just have to understand the right way of understanding it, instead of ignoring it. And this is one of the key themes what I felt in Keshavananda's classes. He's trying to say that understand the goal in the right way. Not that we don't talk. No, we don't even want to hear the highest topic. Then what happens is we don't really understand our goal properly. We're not supposed to imitate the gopis, but we are supposed to respect and understand how their worship is in the right way. There is a right way to understand it. And that's the way we follow in their footsteps. If we don't even know what they do, how will you follow their footsteps? That's the key point. You have no idea how they think. How will you follow their footsteps? How will you do Vrajavadu Vargenaya Kalpita? Upasana Vrajavadu Vargenaya. How will you do that if you don't know what they think like? Right? And why would Mahaprabhu come even as in the mood of Radharani if he didn't want to teach that? Obviously, he did. So it has to be understood about in the right way. That's the first and the key point. Now, we will, what is this method of worship of the gopis? इसमें एक बहुत important point, one of the points which is coming in is Mahaprabhu. If we know that, I was thinking about it, he doesn't mention it in the class, but I was thinking about it. Lord Ram came to teach Maryada. And let's say at least it's understood in the common parlance like that. Although if you go deeper, you will see he's also teaching love in various wonderful ways. But at the surface, it may seem that he's teaching Maryada Purushottam. Is Maryada Purushottam? Lord Krishna is teaching love. He's Leela Purushottam. You can also see this, is basically he exhibited, this love of the at least in Vrindavan, the love of the gopis, etc. So prema. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to teach us this prema. But there is a very interesting verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says this, that Durgame Krishna Bhavadbho Nimagno Magna Chetasa Gaurena Harina Prema Maryada Bhuri Darshita. So here it is being said that Prem Maryada, the word Prema is combined with the word Maryada. Okay. And it is said that, it is actually said here, the translation is, the ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna is very difficult to understand. Even for such demigods as Lord Brahma, as the demigods as Lord Brahma, very difficult to understand. Durgame Krishna Bhavadbho, right? By enacting his pastime, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submerged himself in that ocean of ecstatic love of Krishna. Nimagna Unmagna Chetasa Gaurena. And by Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And his heart was absorbed in that love. Thus he exhibited what? What did he exhibit? He didn't just exhibit prem. He actually taught us prem maryada. Now here comes like really such an important concept which can change our method of sadhana, and actually we can understand the basis of the method of our sadhana by this. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't just teach to Krishna Prem. He came to teach us Krishna Prem Maryada. And here we have to understand that when you exhibit love, right, love is exhibited differently as per the different, as per your adhikar, and different adhikar that we have, as per the different people that you're dealing with, and as per the different places also. So Prabhuji gives very nice example of a lady. A lady has a child, a lady has a husband, he has in-laws, has also people in her maika, what is called, which means her in her parents' place, and she and she's also has these different places. One is her parents' place and one is her let's say her in-laws' place. So she deals differently in these different relationships. With her child, she treats herself like a mother. With her husband, like a wife. With her mother-in-law, like a daughter-in-law. With her mother, like a daughter, etc. And also, in her different places, depending on which place she is in, she acts accordingly. So in her own parents' place, she acts as if she is like a, she may even act like a child. She acts like a little girl when she's at her parents' place. But when she's at in-laws' place, she acts like the older adult daughter-in-law, etc. When she is with her husband only, then she acts like a wife, and when she is with her child, she acts like a mother. But if now imagine the disaster that may happen if she acts with her child like a wife, or with her husband like a mother, or in her in-law space, starts acting as if the same she's acting like in her parents' place, or otherwise. The whole thing, it will be a disaster in her life, basically. It will be a disaster in the relationships. So we have to understand who we are acting with, what adhikar we have with them, even though we are in love, and what place we are in, and accordingly we act. Right? And this is prema maryada. And that's what has to be followed even while trying to understand the gopis properly. Does that make sense to everybody? Maybe one quick Hari Bol.
Yes, Prabhu. Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is what we will try to understand. This is what he teaches now in this. Okay. Now, to understand the gopis, now, first of all itself, we are going to talk about that there are two kinds of people. We know there are siddhas and there are sadhakas. The people are of two types. I will try to make some notes also because I couldn't complete my notes. So two types of people and two types of places. Okay. The two types of people and two types of places. What are the two types of people? Siddhas, who are already perfect, and sadhakas.
So it's a Nitya Siddhas.
Yeah, there can
And
be different
sadha-
types of siddhas. Nitya siddhas, sadhana siddhas, kripa siddhas, that we know. But all are siddhas, right? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right. They're all perfect already.
Okay.
So like in this session, Nitya Gauranga Prabhu, Anurag Sharma Prabhu are like close to siddhas. They may be already getting perfect. And
Sadhaka Siddhas, whereas Anurag Prabhu is Nitya Siddha, Balaram Lila Prabhu Nitya Siddha, who came to take the Sadhaka Siddhas.
and there are sadhakas like who are just starting their sadhaka, like myself here. So you can see Anurag Prabhu is in
So Sadhaka Siddha can give a class to the Nitya Siddhas, right? Come on, Prabhu.
That's what you can see. This is Kali Yuga. People who don't know anything and not realize anything also speak. So you are very careful. Right? But anyway, take something good even from a horrible place. That's what the principle you're following right now. The place is horrible, but what is being said, oh yeah, there is something in that, because that's the principle you have been following always last so many weeks. So siddhas, sadhakas, and places are what, Prabhu? What are the two places? Spiritual world and material.
And material world.
Okay. How amazingly he described, Prabhu. This is like really unbelievable. Just change. So now siddhas are only in the siddhas can be in the spiritual world and material world also, but sadhakas are only in the material world. So we'll talk about three. Okay, three combinations. Got it, right? That will be the thing basically. Okay, siddhas will be only in there, and sadhakas will be in the. Now we will talk about 5 things here. Okay, what is the method of the gopis? And by method means you have to understand 5 things: the goal, the obstacles, what is their goal, what is their purpose. Got it? What are the obstacles that they face while trying to achieve their goal? Okay. Third, what is the process that they follow? Fourth, what are the indicators, like the symptoms, okay, in the process? And fifth is a very special thing, the feelings. What are their feelings, you can say, and their primary feeling, that of separation. Okay, you with me? So these are the. Got it, Prabhus?
Yes, Prabhu.
So what is their goal? Their goal is, in Sanskrit it is called as Krishna. He calls it Krishna Sukha Tatparya. Okay, Krishna Sukh Tatparya. And in simple terms, that means that their only goal is what? What does it mean? Happiness of Krishna. That's it. That is their only goal. Even if there is a verse in the last, in fact, उसको quote किया जा सकता है यहाँ पे. There is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, verse 20 in this 52. नगणी आपना दुख सभे वांछी तानरा सुख आमारा तात्पर्य मोरे यदि दिया दुख तानरा हैला महासुख सेई दुख मोरा सुख वर्य. This was one of the very favorite verses of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He used to tell his disciples to keep reciting this verse when he was waiting in the railway station, this and other places, etc. He would tell his disciples, keep reciting this verse. What is this verse? I do not mind my personal distress. What is my goal? I only wish for the happiness of Krishna. Nagani apana dukh sabe vanchi tanra sukh. Tanra sukh amara tatparya. Same, Krishna sukh tatparya. Tatparya means the aim of my life. Tatparya is goal. Okay? For his happiness is the goal of my life. So what is the goal of the life of the gopis and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord and Srimati Radharani? The happiness of Lord Shri Krishna.
Of Krishna. Yeah.
Hari Bol, Jai.
Hari Hari.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Prabhu?
Yeah.
We have found the goal of our life, the happiness of Krishna. Okay. However, if he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. If Krishna becomes happy, oh, I will give distress to this devotee. That devotee says, oh, this distress is the greatest of my happiness because it's giving Krishna happiness.
So how do we know that the distress that we are going through is making Krishna happy?
Yeah, I will tell you, we'll talk about it more later. But you know what is the simple answer?
Uh-huh.
You know what is the simple answer? Because Krishna is perfect, so he will only do in our life what is the best thing for us, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that means he will only give us whether happiness or distress, doesn't matter. To him, actually, it doesn't matter whether he is giving you happiness and distress. He only will give you the best thing for you. And whatever he gives the best thing for you is going to make him happy. Because he loves you, no? Because he loves you, he will only give you the best thing, correct? So it's a detail whether it's distress or happiness he's giving you. That's a detail. So whatever is coming in our life is actually making Krishna happy. Because Krishna is only sending it to us. Krishna is only sending now. Who is sending to you?
Yeah.
Finally, he is sending to us. If he is sending to me, he can only send me the best thing. And when he's sending me the best thing, he will be unhappy about it or happy about it? He'll be happy about it. Yes, there will be some mixture of unhappiness also, you can say. Just like when you chastise Govinda. I don't know if you ever do that. Do you ever do that?
Of course, Prabhu. Every day it happens.
Yeah, so if you ever chastise Govinda.
That Leela happens every day.
Yeah. So you are happy about it because you are trying to teach him the right thing. You're also a little bit unhappy. There's some mixture there because he is facing some distress, but you know that distress is for his good. So eventually it is making you happy. It would have been more unhappy for you if you did not chastise him. The parents become more unhappy if they can't chastise their child because they're thinking, oh my God, I'm not able to chastise him, but he's going into a ditch. Correct? So that way, whatever coming in our life, Krishna is. So that's a separate topic. But I am just quickly said that we will cover this topic, distress, wala also sometime. So now you will see here, Prabhu, that the goal of the gopis is Krishna Sukh Tatparya. Okay. All right. So that is their goal. Now, if you take up that's the goal in Goloka Vrindavan, right? But if you talk about the goal in here, which is the goal of the siddhas in the material world, the goal of the siddhas in the material world, then their goal is actually it's called Prem Prachar. He gives a specific word. Prem Prachar Pashand Dalan. Their goal is preaching of the love of Krishna. Prem Prachar. Actually, मैं जरा सा भूल गया was just I was making notes. Preaching of the love of Krishna and to or maybe maybe it's a little bit better. I cover the 5 things of the world. We can do it both ways actually. He did it in a different way. And to kill the obstacle, basically, Pashandal, the people who are opposed to it, right? Essentially to oppose the, or let's say to fight against the Pashand, which means the people who are opposed to it. Right? That is their goal. Why? Because Krishna, that is what going to give Krishna happiness. So anyway, maybe it's better I will just cover these 5 for the gopis first. I think maybe that's something a little bit better. So what are these 5 for the gopis first? Their goal is Krishna Sukh Tatparya. What are their obstacles? Their obstacles are that what Jatila, Kutila and all of that. Got it? Yeah, they are the obstacles for them, right?
So they have only physical other living entities as obstacles, nothing else.
These people who are there, the Brijvasis only, in their Leela, they are obstructing. Or for the other gopis, like for Radharani, Jatila, Kutila. For other gopis, their husbands, their in-laws, others, they are stopping them, from meeting Krishna. So
one thing is wonderful is, how can Jatila and Kutila be in the spiritual world when they are against Krishna?
That is a Leela. That has to be understood in a day. Even their husbands are there because they are there to facilitate. That's Leela kind of thing. Yeah.
But after the Leela is done, can they be as loving to Krishna as the gopis?
I think so. I think they are. They are probably my understanding. I'm not speculating, but they may be getting put into Yogamaya. Just to facilitate this Leela. So Krishna will say, I will put you into Yogamaya. Now you obstruct Radharani. So it will become it will be a wonderful, Leela. If there is no obstruction, the rasa is not so much.
Yeah, but like Jaya and Vijaya, they are so devoted to serving the Lord. So they were in the form of a curse, they were sent to the material world to fight against the Lord.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But in this case, they are put into Yogamaya, but they are not sent to material world. They are within the spiritual world. They are staying in the spiritual world itself, but put into Yogamaya to...
that is my understanding. This is a good point, Prabhu. It can be that way. I understand that this potency of Yogamaya would exist in the spiritual realm also. Krishna can cover them. for increasing love, because Krishna can do anything to increase love, na? So he may cover them in some special ways. That's my understanding. Because the whole idea is it should be ever increasing ecstatic love in Goloka Vrindavan. Super exciting. So many things have to happen for that, right? It is not a dull, it doesn't become stale at any point. Super increasing, exciting love. It's like what you see in the movies. Some movies are really exciting, right? Like, what is that movie in Goloka Vrindavan? In fact, Prabhu had another class on that, which I have to look up. He said, this is the thing, Krishna Leela is called Vichitra. Vichitra basically means it's super exciting. It's like, it's unbelievably exciting. That is Vrindavan. Vrindavan is like, there is no way we can fathom how exciting it is, ever increasingly, eternally. So that's why there are these obstacles there, just to increase this excitement. Then there is the point of the process. What is the process? The process is that it's actually, he calls it, so in the process, actually the next time lecture we can do it another time, and then next time also. So because I couldn't get a chance to note it properly. The process is, in their case, is the oh my God, their process is also, their main thing is they are deep absorption in terms of, I think this is also, I will clarify this, but I think their process is smaranam. I will get back to this. We'll do this another next time also maybe. Their process is smaranam, which is basically they are deeply absorbed in Krishna. Okay, sometimes they may not even speak it aloud in their case, but they, like he was saying, in some other class I heard, even Radharani will look at Krishna and she becomes deeply moved just looking at Krishna, like that. So their process is smaranam, like that. They are so deeply absorbed in Krishna. Or he uses another word, I have to clarify that. I can come back to that, how to. Their indicators is basically, what are the symptoms? What are the symptoms for them, for the gopis? Is basically, he call it, for them, it's like, there are, he calls it like dasham avastha or something, which basically means that, there are all these symptoms which gopis have, the hair standing on end and, the perspiration and shivering, and so many things happen, na? Because they're so deep into this thing. The last thing which happens, dasham avastha, the 10th thing which happens is, it's almost like they almost are like dead. They become dead, basically. Their body, everything just stops functioning completely. It goes to that extent, the love. So that's their indicators. Okay. Mrityu. It's like mrityu. It's not mrityu because the spiritual world, it's not mrityu. But it's like that. They become completely lifeless, essentially. They can't, that can be the ultimate stage, beyond shivering and this and all of that, which they feel. It becomes that. That's called dasham avastha, mrityu. And then finally, they feel separation. The gopis are made of separation. That's the point he's making. Gopis are made of separation. Which means their whole life is separation only. Swabhavika viraha, he calls it. Swabhavika viraha. Means they are, if you mention gopi, that means they are made of separation. And they have the Swabhavika viraha. Okay. Then there is this technical word called prem vaichitya. Okay. What is prem vaichitya? Gopis feel separation from Krishna even when they are with Krishna. Now, very interesting. How can you feel separation from somebody when you are with them? Then also they feel separation. Why? Because when they are with Krishna, physically they are there, but they feel, I think there are two things there. I can also clarify what he exactly said. There are two things there. One is that they feel that fear that Krishna, they feel the fear that Krishna may leave anytime, because Krishna to chhoot jayenge na kabhi, I may lose him anytime. Krishna kab chhoot jayenge. So this is the fear in their mind, that they may lose Krishna anytime. You can imagine now, just take the example of a mother, if she has lost her child sometime, she gets the child. Now, even though she's with the child, she will still feel the fear of separation. I may lose the child sometime. The same thing may happen between lovers also, that way. So, prem vaichitya is that. And thirdly, he says it's in the form of dhairya, which means when they are separate from Krishna, Krishna has gone to the forest, etc., they can't meet him, they keep maintaining patience, dhairya, that we are separate from him. But in that dhairya, they are feeling deep separation, viraha. So these are the three things, he says, in the form of how they are feeling separation from Krishna. Swabhavika viraha, prem vaichitya, and dhairya. Okay? Now we will come to what the sadhakas, what the siddhas in this material world, they feel. Siddhas in the material world. So siddhas in their material world, for them, what is the goal? Siddhas in the material world, for them, what is the goal? Their goal is what? Prachar. Their goal is prachar. Okay. Because what does Krishna want in this? No, here's the key point actually. This is the key point here. Although the manjaris in the actually, yahan par, I think their process was, I remember, their process was Manjari Bhav. They actually, because in Manjari Bhav, there is the greatest, he says in the lecture, in the Manjari Bhav, there is the greatest, way of serving Krishna. Now here, Siddhas, their goal is Prachar. Because when our Gurujanas, you can say even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Prabhupada and others, they have descended from the spiritual world. Rupa Goswami, etc. When they descend to the spiritual world, it's not like Manjaris means they are acting as if like the place has changed now, correct? Here's the key point here. What is the key point here? Please try to understand. The place has changed here, my dear friend. Because the place has changed, according to the Maryada, now they are not going to act as if they're going to dress like gopis and they're going to only keep shouting outside, hey Krishna, hey Krishna. They're only going to say, I will only do this cooking for them and dress them in a certain way, etc. Like the work which the Manjaris are doing up there. What is their goal now? What is their finally purpose, by the way? Give happiness to Krishna, correct? Correct. What is the greatest happiness for Krishna when it comes to the place has changed, material world? What is Krishna's purpose here in this material world?
To reclaim the fallen souls.
That's it.
So
they will work for that. That is why the Sahajiyas, when they don't do preaching and they act as if like, oh, I'm so deeply absorbed in Krishna, hey Krishna, ha Krishna. This is Bhakti Saraswati Thakur says they are like monkeys. Actually, he calls them monkeys. They're immature. They have no understanding of what is Gopi Bhav. Does it make sense?
So it's appropriate, like if the gopis based on the sthala,
Yes.
like based on the sthala, you have to act. If you are in the
Yes.
spiritual world, the Lord there, you just whatever pleases to the Lord, just make him happy. But in the material world, the
Yes.
Lord will
This
be
is the
happy.
key point here.
Yeah.
This is the key point here. Let's understand this.
Mm.
This is going to change our whole thing about
Mm.
how we, when you think about an esoteric topic, don't get like feel like, oh my God, I can't talk this esoteric topic. This is something high. I will understand it later. No, the basics of that you can understand now.
Mm.
You can understand we can understand the principles behind it. You can understand the principles behind it. Correct. They have the principle, the same principle in mind of love. But love, according to the place, changes. So here the goal is prachar. Yeah. Then comes the obstacles. What is the obstacles for them? For them, the obstacles are actually, मैं थोड़ा सा confused हो रहा हूँ. I'll listen to the lecture again because I didn't make the note. I think it's the obstacles while doing the prachar. Okay, she calls it because that's the obstacles that they face. There's all these siddhas. So for them, the obstacles in the material world while doing the prachar. Okay, that's pretty obvious. So they are facing huge obstacles. Prabhupada is facing huge obstacles. You know why? Now it explains why Prabhupada would leave Vrindavan to do this, whatever he did. Why Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Thakur would do what he did, right? Why are they just staying in Vrindavan that way? Because they are gopis. They are manjaris from the spiritual world. But this is what a manjari does when the place changes. It's a mind-blowing concept, no? It's like
yeah.
Then the process, okay. Now their process is, I should have made the note here. Their process, yeah. So their process, Prabhu, because they are like siddhas already, right? So in one sense, they're in a stage of, not one sense, they're in the stage of spontaneous bhakti. They're the stage of spontaneous bhakti, which is, it's coming spontaneously to them, right? They don't have to force themselves. So the spontaneous bhakti is Raganuga bhakti. Okay. The primary ang of Raganuga bhakti is smaranam instead of kirtanam. Means smaranam means what? They're deeply absorbed in thinking about Krishna always. Deeply absorbed in thinking of Krishna. But obviously the smaranam happens with kirtanam. Kirtane bhave smaranam hove. Okay. It's not that they're not doing kirtan.
Without kirtan, smaranam cannot happen, you're saying.
It's not that they're not doing kirtan. They are doing kirtan outside, because there is a bogus philosophy where they're saying you just do smaranam and stop the kirtanam. That's nonsense. There was a philosophy like that. Somebody tried to deviate. His name was Roop Kaviraj. A few generations after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Roop Kaviraj. Yeah, he mentioned his name in other lectures also.
Yes, so he had this philosophy. But Srinivasa Acharya's daughters, like Hemanta Thakur and somebody, they discarded him. But this kind of philosophy still exists in Vrindavan, he says. Some people will say like that. They don't give so much importance to Kirtan. Even if they do it, they're saying like Swaranam. Because it's true, Smaranam happens very deeply. Because even Krishna says, na, Anta Kalecha Maameva Smaran Muktva. He doesn't say Kirtan Utva Kalivaram. In the end, it is Smaranam. They are so deeply absorbed in Krishna. Their whole being inside is Krishna, right? So it is true, Raganuga Bhakti, it's completely Smaranam, but it is based on Kirtanam outside. So Kirtanam outside always happens, because Kirtanam, we are doing it as Seva also. They do Kirtanam as Seva also. Because they want to do this Seva. Kirtanam means we are constantly singing to, not just to the devotees, we are singing to Krishna. Na? They are singing to the Lord. They're always singing Lord's names as a seva. And seva mood always has to continue. This can be another topic some other time. But that's basically, they are always in the mood of seva. And they are doing this kirtan as seva because they are singing to Krishna. They are not just, they are, when you say it's like Hare Krishna, na, you're calling out to Radharani and Krishna. Not just saying the name, you're calling to, they're always calling to them. So their main thing is smaranam. Then the next point is indicators. For them, the indicators is, in their inside in them comes up a, what is it called? Anya Swarup Vrittis, Anya Swarup ki Mrityu, something like that he says. I get that. Anya Swarup Mrityu means basically they actually have, for them, they are in one sense this particular body that they are in, they are liberated from it already. Jivan Mukta. They are not, they don't consider themselves as belonging to the particular nation, a particular caste, creed, or even to the extent that they are a male or a female. They don't actually, because they're not this body. They have realized their Siddha Swarup. They have realized internally within who they are in Krishna Leela also. They are already realized in that. So they are, you know, if they are, you know, whatever they are in the spiritual world, you know, there are so many associates of the Lord, Gopis, Manjaris, or Gopas, or, you know, or even cows or peacocks or whatever they are, they have realized that within. So they are dead to this, in one sense, to their external thing here, but they will act properly in the sense that for their entire purpose of prachar. So they won't like dress like a gopi, or they won't do that. But inside they have realized this is liberated. They are Jivan Mukta. They're already liberated from this bodily concept, no? Bodily concept is gone. So that's their indicators. And finally, separation for them comes in a very interesting way. One is prem vaichitya, prem vivarta, prema vivarta. Prema vivarta technical means, vivarta means virta, parivartan. You know that word parivartan. Parivartan means something
transformation. Yeah.
Transformation. According to their love, there is a parivartan, prema vivarta. Means whatever they see Krishna and his pastimes in this world. But Prabhupada is saying, na, don't see just the world. You're seeing the beautiful sunset. See the one, how beautiful will the one who created that sunset, correct? Right? He's teaching us that, correct? Don't see the world, see the one behind this world. You can, that is developing the vision of love, correct? Correct. And a higher stage, what happens? They will when they see any hill, they start saying Govardhan. When they see any river, they start. So there's a verse like that also. You know, Nadi dekhi Kalindi, they feel it is like Yamuna. You know, then they see Vana dekhi, they feel it's any forest they see is Vrindavan. Like that. Okay. So it's called Prema Vivarta because of, just like, you know, you can see in mundane example also, if a mother has lost her child, correct? If she sees a child of a similar age, what happens to her?
Recollects her child.
Yeah, she sees the child. She sees her child in that, na?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely she's her child in that. So this is Prema Vivarta.
You know that thing we crossed?
They see everything. Or they may see in things also like that. If somebody has lost their home and they see another home of the same type, they will think, oh my God, I remember my home. This is my home, correct?
Yeah.
My home got burnt now. So it happens with things also, not just with people.
I finished it and he said, thank you.
Correct.
I graded it.
So, Prema Vivarta. And then there are three guna viraha.
Stop with this.
Three guna viraha
You're
here.
not going to say.
They feel three types of separation. When they are in front of where they feel first separation from Goloka Vrindavan. Because they are away na, from Goloka Vrindavan. They are in this material world. So they feel separation from Goloka Vrindavan. Then they feel separation from the Dham. Because they are afraid from the Dham. Na? They're preaching
That's the first
outside.
one.
Huh?
That's the first one.
Yeah, you can say either of the first one. They feel separation from Dham in this material world. But they also feel separation from Golok Vrindavan. Because they are not in the spiritual world, they are in the material world, correct?
But that's the same thing, right?
You know,
Feeling separation from Golok Vrindavan Dham and feeling separation from the Dham. Is it not the same?
not exactly the same, no? Because the Dham, it is a replica of the spiritual world. We know that. But it's still a replica.
Okay. Are you
of the spiritual
saying?
world.
Are you saying that first is they are feeling this, that they are separated from the Goloka Vrindavan Dham? Second, they are feeling that within the material world they are not in Vrindavan, they are somewhere else.
Yes.
Then they are feeling the separation of the Dham in the material world, Vrindavan Dham.
Separation from the Dham. Yes, I'm not in.
Okay.
First, the point is I'm not in the spiritual world. I should be in the spiritual world. I belong to the spiritual world. I don't belong here. This is the first thing now. I'm not. Krishna is saying you are my part and parcel. I'm calling you to my home, correct? That means that is my home. I am separate from my home. Is this your home? Is material world your home? No. It's not my home. We are all separated from home. We are all separated from home right now. Just like Anurag Sharma Prabhu is in the train right now. He's separate from his home. If we tell him, Bhaya, whole life remain in this train, he's going to be. Right now, he's okay. You know, he's smiling. He's in samadhi. He's like.
No. He will say yes. Only if you say that he will continuously give the call, this class for eternity, then he will remain in the train. For him, the train becomes Goloka Vrindavan Dham.
This is by the way, happens in that he's crying. See, he's crying. He's, my God, unbelievable. See, he's put that symbol that he's crying.
He's crying or choking his voice because in ecstasy.
His voice is.
He might be choked. Yeah.
His hands are falling off. Now is the second symbol he's saying. So that's the thing basically. But this is a serious example now. If you are told that be in this train or your whole life, you will be completely. That's our case in this world. We are in this train or this jail now. We are stuck here. We are thinking this is my home. It's not. It's not my home. So then we feel separation from Dham, because at least in the Dham, you know, Lord, you were there, correct? So you were there and all that. So I can be more connected with you. And the third thing they feel is, even if the third type of virya they feel, even if they come in front of the Lord, like let's say they come in front of the deities, etc. Right? Or they feel, although they are siddhas, but because they are deen, right? They are deen, they're humble. They feel, my Lord, you have still not accepted me. So let's say you can be with somebody, right? Let's say you are with your parents, okay? The child has come back to the parents, but the child is still a nonsense, let's say, right? So then he is with the parents, but the parents have not completely embraced him, like accepted him really, even if they may do it from outside. So the smart child, he will feel, my Lord, you have not really deeply accepted me, correct? I'm with you, but it's almost like worse, but I'm not with you in that sense. So that's what they feel. They feel, my Lord, you have not accepted me. Why? Because I am, I'm a nonsense, basically. I have still not, I still don't love you. I still don't serve you. I still don't do whatever. So that's why they feel that separation from the Lord, because they're thinking the Lord has not accepted me. We can see that in this in the word, in this relationship also, correct? So yeah, deep it's the ek topic itna deep actually. You can go into each topic very deeply, but because we are covering it overall. And then the last thing is who we are. Okay. Should we cover that in 5 minutes, or do you want to do it next time? That's about sadhakas in this material world. So I've already covered for yourself and Anurag Prabhu. Now I want to cover for myself. What is my position in this world? Which is the sadhakas in this material world. Yeah?
I think we can do next week, Prabhu.
Okay.
What
So
is
we
the
are
time
late.
now? It's
So
10
we'll do it
o'clock,
next
right?
week.
It's past
So
10.
that way we will also cover the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
final comments from anybody? Now, Anurag Sharma Prabhu, you can get out of the samadhi also. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We'd
Yeah.
like to continue next time.
Yes. So any comments?
अभी नहीं है कोई.
यार ये क्या बात हो गई यार, हद ही हो गई. कोई कमेंट ही नहीं है एक घंटे से आप लोग. This is not allowed. Some comment has to come, Prabhu. That is
Yeah.
unacceptable thing.
Speechless.
ऐसा speechless.
Speechless कर
You
दिया
would have
है
been
प्रभु
happy if
आपने.
I was speechless. Would have been happy I
No,
was
no.
speechless.
I mean,
No, let's
I'm
not do this.
wondering.
Yeah, some comment has to come. Some rule has to be put
Yeah.
in place. Don't say this.
I'm
I am
wondering.
speechless. That means you were, maybe you were in samadhi. That's why you couldn't.
Yeah, I'm still wondering. This is so clear that based on the place, your behavior changes, right? As you have given the example of earlier of a bahu or a daughter-in-law, her behavior changes when she is at her hometown or when she is at in-laws house, right? Based on place and also based on the people which she's interacting. Her behavior changes with mother-in-law, father-in-law, son or wife or daughter,
Yeah.
right? So similarly, when these siddhas, based on the place, when they are in Goloka Vrindavan, their attitude towards Krishna is just to serve him. But when they are in material world, when they come down to material world, then the mood of serving Krishna is different, like preaching. So when this is so simple and so crystal clear, how did this sahajya this thing come out? And it's I don't understand.
That's why he is calling them monkeys. Acharya is calling them monkeys, Prabhu.
No, it's so simple to understand. Why don't they understand? I don't understand this one.
Prabhu, because it is gratifying our own senses. It is not looking for the pleasure of Krishna. Right? And
they are only gratifying. Oh, I want
disease in this material world. What is our disease in this material world? Our whole disease is that we are not following here. Radharani is saying here, I do not mind my personal distress. There is distress in preaching, isn't it? People gali dega aapko, itna kuch karna padega, risking your whole life, etc. That's you have to do for preaching that, na? But to be a sahajya, you don't have to do those things so much. Yeah, okay, you have to be in Vrindavan, like that, maybe like that. So,
but there is no sacrifice in it.
That's the point. There is no sacrifice in it.
Only you are feeling.
That's the point.
Okay,
There is
the Gopi.
The main point is sacrifice. The main point is sacrifice. What is love? What is love without sacrifice?
Meaningless.
I love. It means nothing. It is not love. Love means seva, and seva means sacrifice. If people say, oh yeah, I love you, I do some seva. So first they may not even first they may say, first of all, love means nothing without seva. And seva means nothing without sacrifice. Because I may do some seva, but I not really sacrifice much, right? That's why when a billionaire, if he gives $1 million, Krishna is okay. Because it was not so much of a sacrifice. The main thing what he's looking is what is your will to sacrifice. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that is the idea. This is in this material world, what is Krishna's purpose? You act
Yeah.
according to my purpose. Why are you acting as per what I have shared with you about the Dham, the Goloka Vrindavan, etc. I have shared with you about that. But your purpose should be to do whatever to bring people in the right way to this thing so that they can develop the mood of servitude properly. Not that they try to enjoy this, that I have done some Madhurya Leela and now you're trying to relish that and destroy everything. You can see why our Acharyas, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is so dead against this thing. Seems obvious, yeah? So yes, we worship these pastimes. We worship these. In fact, there's a verse like that, Bhakti Saraswati Thakur used to say, that we worship these, this melodious Madhurya pastimes of the Lord. And we don't try to, in that sense, we don't try to relish it as if it's for my own sense gratification. But we worship them, and then we do whatever to bring people closer to Krishna. That's the Acharya. It's not that we don't hear Krishna's pastime. We will hear, but we will hear and do everything in a mood of worship. In a mood of worship of these pastimes. How exalted are these pastimes of the Lord, and how fallen I am. And Krishna wants that I understand and follow this properly, because we have to see the deep servitude in these pastimes. That's the idea. And then teach people also. That's why Prabhupada kept stressing, you're a servant, you're a servant, you're a servant. This is Gopi Bhav. So Prabhupada, next time we will cover what is the sadhaka's Gopi Bhav. The sadhaka is also in Gopi Bhav, but that is sadhaka's Gopi Bhav. Then there's Siddha's Gopi Bhav in the material world, and then there's the Siddha's Gopi Bhav in the spiritual world. They are all Gopi Bhav, because we are all the methods of madness, the method of following the gopis, feeling of the gopis. They're all Gopi Bhav. So Gopi Bhav is not esoteric. It will remain a so-called esoteric term if you only think in terms of the Goloka Vrindavan. Then you will, or while Krishna was here, the gopis were acting with the Krishnas if you only take it in that context, then you will go into a Sahajiya mode. You don't understand this concept of time, place, circumstances. How the same Bhava will act now. Any other comments? Very deep point, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Because Sahajiyasam ko kaatna bahut important hai, Prabhu. Actually, gradually we'll realize more. There are many devotees in ISKCON, by the way, also. They get slipped into this in some way. Because feeling that maybe Prabhupada did not give the highest thing. He gave the initial thing. Really? That feeling is there.
Yeah.
वो यूएस में बैठ के शायद उतना नहीं समझ, यहाँ पे आके इंडिया में आके और थोड़ा आइडिया लगता है उसका. Especially in Vrindavan and all that, you will see that. और नवद्वीप वगैरह में भी हो सकता है, but you will see that. That's a. And you know that there have been instances, even very, very senior leaders. There have been cases where people got into this kind of a rasa bhakti, and they thought that the rasa bhakti is higher. There have been cases like that. Because there is this feeling which can come, oh no, we didn't get the highest. So that's why Prabhupada was stopping people from going to Radha Kund Babaji's and all of that like that. Because it's a wrong understanding of Gopi Bhav. Place is not being considered. The place is not being considered. Otherwise you just see that verse, oh, Mahaprabhu is saying, follow the gopis, follow the gopis. So there you go, follow the gopis.
And also, even while Mahaprabhu was there, the Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, being the Manjaris, they didn't act like Manjaris.
Yeah.
It would have made sense if they acted like Manjaris. Maybe if Sahajias may be right, but when they themselves, those who are the acharyas of this movement, being directly Manjaris, didn't act like a Manjari. And why would I act like a Manjari whether I don't know whether I'm a Manjari or not?
Yeah. But in a way, that's what they're like, this subtle ways in which people, this can be, sometimes it may not be so gross also, I'm acting like Panjari. But there can be subtle ways I can be like a Sahajiya. And so वो थोड़ा careful रहते हुए देखना है कि नहीं, the main mission of a gopi in this material world would have been to carry forward the mission of the Guru. This is Gopi Bhav. Mission of the Guru, that needs to be taken forward. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana. This is what Prabhupada's inspiration was, based on the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. You dedicate yourself to following the order of the Guru and carry forward the mission of the Guru. This is Gopi Bhav. You may fight a court case. The Bhakti Samsarita pastime hai. There was a court case going on. So there were people who were doing like 64 rounds in the mud. And there was one devotee, Ananta Vasudev, or somebody was there. He was fighting a court case. Why? Because they were getting some land and some of the temple, etc. And all that. They're fighting a court case. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur said, he who is fighting in the court case is in Gopi Bhav.
As you just mentioned, there is a court case hearing where within a couple of days.
Oh, there you go.
And Prabhupada Maharaj is like in Long Island.
Oh, yeah.
This has been going for like 20 years. 20 years. Yes, 20 years se chal raha hai. Abhi, I think it's going to end.
Oh my God.
This is like, and Maharaj has been like fighting for last 20 years on this.
Oh my God.
He didn't give up on this, because if he give up, you will lose the ISKCON to Ritviks.
Yeah, my God.
The title and everything. So,
wow. This is Gopi Bhav.
Yeah.
Gopi Bhav. What a hassle, my God. 20, I can't even imagine.
20 years
of court case. My goodness. Oh my God. What a major thing. So this is the example of our current acharyas. Our current gurus. They are teaching us. Why is that? The Guriraj Maharaj, the Juhu story, the book he wrote.
Yeah.
My God, oh my God. What's that? So Prabhupada is teaching and he has taught that to his disciples. You have to work hard like that in this world for the mission of the Guru. This is Gopi Bhav. This is Gopi Bhav. We do our sadhana deeply. We do our reading and chanting, all of that, reading and hearing and all of that. We hear all of this and we hear the Rupa Guna Leela of the Lord. We chant the name of the Lord. That's what has to be done. Morning, evening. That's a sandwich program. During the day, we are dedicating ourselves to carry forward the mission of the Lord based on these understandings. This is Gopi Bhav. Anurag Guru, you're saying something? then we can end. It's late.
Okay,
Anurag was
Prabhu.
saying something. He was saying something. Anyway, it's late for you. Thank you so much, and thank you again for your
Thank you.
encouraging comments on this session for the BRC that we were able to do. So
Yeah, that was
very
great, Prabhu. That was great. The BRC comments.
wonderful.
I
Thank you.
actually shared all that information with my circle in India.
Wow.
Those
Wow.
they are yeah, at least
Because
some
this
of
can
them
be
just
shared
appreciate.
with people who may not be even ISKCON devotees.
Yeah, I shared with my own old friend group. Couple of them appreciated,
Yeah.
even though they didn't attend the session, but at least they appreciated the text. I forwarded the text that you have sent, right,
Huh.
regarding the session, and also your
Because the session
your-
was about me. It had to be
Yeah.
about a devotee. Now that's the topic of things. So it had to be about me.
yeah,
We'll do later more about BRC specifically.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Okay,
I
thank
won't
you,
take
Prabhu.
your time now, but
Yeah.
any more specific feedback you can also share later. Yeah,
Mm.
you can drop Anurag if you want to say something, you can, or you can. There's one.
Yeah, I'm dropping off, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol. See you, Anurag, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Haribol, Anurag Prabhu, I think you are on mute only. Okay, then we will disconnect. Chalo, theek hai, Haribol, we'll disconnect. I don't think we can hear you. Okay, Haribol, Jai. Dandavats. Thank you.